Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the dev server and we're having a look at two new vehicles that are coming in for the Russian tech tree. Yes, we are having a look at the BMPTs, the Terminators, not just the Terminator 1, but also the Terminator 2. Both of these vehicles are not fully finished on the dev server. Their weapon systems don't function properly. It only has access to one 30mm, the other one doesn't fire. But I'm pretty sure in the standard game it will be able to. Understand that there is some controversy around these guns, how accurate they're going to be, and also what the fire rate's going to be, and all of these wonderful things. But just letting you know, on the dev server right now, these guns are unfinished. So just take that into account. The BMPT 72 is the premium BMPT, which is coming into the game. It is a pre-order vehicle. If you want to pick up the pre-order, I'll leave a link in the description and also the pinned comment. You can get a discount while purchasing it for the 10-3 Russian lineup. There is also another BMPT coming in, though, which is in the standard tech tree. And it's going to be after the Chrysanthema at rank 7-2. This continuing this line of ATGM vehicles, which has not really seen a lot of additions to it more recently, apart from, of course, the BTR-82AT, which they've added here. The BMPT 72 is labeled as an anti-tank missile carrier instead of a light tank. This means that it does not get access to scouting as of this moment, but it does get access to the ammo box on it, which is really cool. And maybe in the future, it will get access to scouting, even labeled as a tank destroyer, because you can see here the ASU-57, which is also in the Russian tech tree, is an example of a vehicle that isn't a light tank, but gets access to scouting. Same with the ASU-85, which is also in this tech tree somewhere, which I can always never find, right here, where this is another tank destroyer, which also has access to scouting. The Weasel is also another one, which is a little bit odd in that regard. So what is the difference between the two BMPTs right now? Well, number one, the BMPT 72, the premium one, it's based on the T-72 chassis. It actually has its armor more modeled than the one on the BMPT. That one just isn't ready yet, and it just doesn't function properly. It has relic all over it, the BMPT 72, and also it has the standard the composite armor that you would find on a T-72 chassis. It also has spore liners all around it to protect the crew, which it only has 3 people of. You can see here the commander, the gunner, and also the driver in the front. Now, if you compare this, the way that it looks, to the standard BMPT, you can already see the differences. The BMPT is based on the T90 chassis and not the T72 chassis. You can also see that its ERA arrangement is different, but as I said before, it isn't modeled in the game yet. Right now, the only armor that it has is 555mm of armor, which is all over it, which obviously is not going to be its armor. So just take this with a massive grain of salt. Another change to it as well is this vehicle has a 5-man crew instead of a 3-man crew. So it has 3 in the front here, and then also it has 2 in this kind of sunken turret. And at the same time, it has another change, which is the weaponry. This vehicle does get the 230mm. It also gets the same missiles, the attackers, the 9M120s, and also the machine gun in the middle, which is a 7.62. This is all the same on both vehicles, but what this gets access to is 2 automatic grenade launchers. So you have one here in the AG30M category, then you also have one over here. Now, these aren't very good. They're just the VOG30s. They're just there to be annoying. And it's just kind of funny how they added them to this vehicle. Other vehicles have similar stuff, so like the M60 AMBT and also the BMP-2M. But you can see with this vehicle here, this is them firing. And yeah, they're not going to do a lot to vehicles. You're just going to spam them at things to annoy them as you go forward to try and attack them. Now, talking about the guns, you can see here, only one of them fires. Even if I try and switch to the rounds to the other one, it doesn't fire. And then attached to the other control is, of course, the ATGM. You can also see that the optics are not correct on the vehicle either. because they don't line up. You actually have different optics which are all set up. You have the lower circle, which is for the 30mm. You have the center, which is not lined up properly with the gun, and neither with the attacker missile either. So don't worry, they will fix that. It just shows that this weaponry system is not ready at all. So don't worry about that as it goes forward. Now, the other factors about these vehicles which are really cool is the little kind of independent sights that this one has in the front. You can see here that two of the guys, the gunner and also the other gunner, sit in these, and these actually move on the vehicle instead of the just kind of staying still. Also, the turret itself is, as I said, sunken, and this battle station that you have on the top of it, I don't know if it's actually going to be able to be detonated to kill the crew. On both of them. Right now, I believe on this vehicle, if you do hit this, it does detonate the crew, but that can also be changed in the future, and something that we have seen changed in the past before. So let's say if you hit it with like the KW round or something, the belt is in a really, really small place to hit, right? Like it's going to take you quite a long time to hit that. You can see it doesn't actually destroy all of the crew. You do have this funny button here though, which you can generally penetrate through. It'll hit the ammo and the guys behind. Even with the spall liner there, you'll be able to do a decent chunk of damage. So you can see here, this is this big piece of armor, which is only at the moment, by the way, 2 to 6mm. This will be way higher in the future. So even this armor isn't properly there yet. So the vehicles are heavily protected. The major thing that the BMPT has going for it is the simple fact that this turret is autonomous, meaning that you don't have a guy up here, you don't have a guy up here. They are sunken in this area. So what you can do is you can stick the turret out to be able to attack vehicles and have your crew be completely immune compared to it. So even with all of this additional armor on it, is it really required when the whole idea is to actually get this the only part that the enemy can see? So therefore, the survivability part comes from what happens when the ammo is detonated on this thing, and that is kind of the cool and interesting area of it. So let's talk about some other factors. The armament, we did mention this thing has the attacker missile. It comes in a few forms. So you have the one that you'll actually use, which is the 9M120-1. This is the Tandem Warhead attacker. It has access to a lot of penetration, and it is beam riding, so it's a little bit easier to guide in compared to the wire-guided stuff that you see in other areas. You also have access to the 9M120-1F. This is a HE ATGM. It just has a lot of TNT equivalent, but it doesn't pen a lot, so I don't really know why people would want to use this thing, apart from to try and maybe overpressure vehicles in weird ways. But the attacker missile, the Tandem Warhead one, also does that. So yeah, I don't know. For the 30mm, they haven't actually given it access to APDS. So these actually have the same rounds that you see on a lot of other Russian light tanks, which are already in the game. You have the APDS belt, which pens up to 82mm, but your default belt, which you'll have to use until rank 3, only pens 65, which is pretty rough for this vehicle, especially at the BR that it's at. Kind of sucks that that's the case, but I think it will be completely fine against all other light vehicles, and you also have the ATGMs to be able to finish off stuff at the same time. You do have an LWSLR, which is really nice. You do have tracking on this as well that you can use, and also smoke grenades, which rotate with the turret. And you can see the 12 smoke grenades on either side, so depending on where the turret is facing, you will be able to fire smokes. Now, this is good as long as your turret ring isn't taken out, but if the turret ring's taken out, you're probably dead anyway. And also, you have this very complicated set of FCS in the vehicle, which if this gets taken out, you're not able to shoot anyway either. This also does seem to have some kind of electronic equipment defense on it. Not sure what it's going to be, whether it's going to be some kind of passive defense system or active defense system, but right now, it isn't fully modeled. So just take that into account with the vehicle once again. They are both based on the good old T90 and T72 though, which means that you get the 1000 horsepower engine, but you also get the really crap transmission, only able to reverse at 4.2 kilometers an hour and only go forward at 60. So if you want to turn this thing, you're going to have to kind of show over your rear end, and all you got there is a little bit of composite in terms of these kind of little areas here, and they'll just go straight through you. No spore liner or anything on the back, and that's where the ammunition is. Now, this will still have the same kind of dead spots as all of the Russian vehicles, so the driver's port, and then also this lower glacis, and you could probably shoot that ammo to take it out too, but who knows at the end of the day what's going to kind of go on with these vehicles. For me, it's just really nice to see these things, and the reason for this is because in the Russian tech tree, you have very light tanks with autocannons. The BMPs and the BMDs are just fantastic. They're able to do a lot of damage, and they're able to annihilate anything that you kind of see around the place, but they can get killed by heavy machine guns. So it's very much a boom or bust strategy when you're normally playing those things, and it can feel like that as you go around the place, and it can get kind of tiring. Then you have stuff like the Sprut, for example. The Sprut as a vehicle is very good at dishing out damage as long as you don't have issues with the targeting speed, and also at the same time you get yourself in a position where you can use the mobility of the platform and the hydropneumatic suspension to do well. With something like the BMPT, it feels like a very different style of vehicle that is very different to a lot of the other lighter ones that we've seen in the past for the Russians. It isn't as mobile as them because it's based on the MBT chassis, but the firepower is similar in terms of what you have access to. You can even see with this one, you can fire the ATGMs on the move, just like a lot of the other Russian vehicles, which means that it is absolutely huge for it when you are trying to be mobile around the place and smashing. We haven't seen a lot of vehicles in the game which have this hypermobility and also this firepower together in a kind of light area, and I wonder how it's actually going to work for it, especially with the missiles themselves. You only get access to a few of them. You only get access to 4 of them, which means you're going to have to use them handedly against vehicles as you move. The targeting speed is good on this vehicle. You can move around the turret at a good click, and just to once again show you about the actual track IR thing, so you can see a plane over there. It can track them from a while away. You do not have access to VT, you do not have access to shrapnel, you don't have access to anything like that. So yeah, generally it's just kind of how it goes. So for me, with this, I'm really looking forward to it. It might be a new era of lighter vehicles in War Thunder, which are heavily armored and also have some nice autocannons and also the access to stuff like the ammo box, so you can keep bringing in your ATGMs. Or it might just be another vehicle that gets easily killed by MBTs and can't really do anything about it because of the simple fact that you just get annihilated as you go by. But who knows? For me, it is a different playstyle, and in War Thunder, I think sometimes that's what's needed. Not something that's crazy overpowered, not something that just annihilates the meta, but something different. And I think that's what the BMPT definitely represents. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.